In fact, all of their losses have come against 4A teams. The only 3A team they have faced was last week when Southern defeated Northern Durham at Durham County Stadium 35-19. Orange also defeated the Knights, also in Durham County Stadium, 21-13. Jeff Hamlin, Chris Casey here with you. And Chris, also tonight, Cedar Ridge is going up against Chapel Hill. Cedar Ridge, of course, won't be playing in the playoffs for reasons that have been documented. It's going to be an interesting game because last year Cedar Ridge wound up winning at Chapel Hill. And even though Cedar Ridge had its postseason taken away from them, I thought they gave a pretty respectable effort last week against one of the best teams perhaps in 4A football, Cardinal Gibbons.
Right. Talking to their coaching staff, they kind of had to adjust their goals. You know, it's no longer us getting to the playoffs. It's just about winning the conference. And it's about things that you can control. Yeah. And I think tonight, starting off with Chapel Hill, it's a good way to open the season. You know, last week they beat East Chapel 29-27, which has been – East Chapel hadn't been that good. So it'll be interesting tonight, but you don't ever want to overlook somebody.
Exactly. We're going to pause for the national anthem here. We're coming back on HillsboroSports.com.
If you need flowers for that special occasion, look no further than the Flower Patch in Hillsboro. A family-owned and operated business since 1982, the Flower Patch delivers in Hillsboro throughout northern Orange County, including Cedar Grove, Efland, and parts of Rougemont and Hurdle Mills. Stop by their shop in North Churchton Street and check out various gifts, including candles, vases, frames, scarves, jewelry, and novelty signs. Go to flowerpatchhillsboronc.com today for more information. The Flower Patch. Send a little sunshine today.
Where did you say we're going after church today?
Oh, Jay's Chicken Shack on North Churton Street in Hillsboro.
What's there?
Oh, they have deep pressure fried chicken. It's a delicious recipe with great flavoring. They have great grilled chicken pitas. You can put gyro meat on there with a salad.
That's great. I can't wait to.
Plus, they have breakfast all day, including Saturday and Sunday, and they have delicious beef ribs, hamburgers, and chicken gizzards.
Okay, thanks, Dad. I have to get dressed.
And for dessert, they have homemade banana pudding and peach cobbler, plus Hershey's ice cream, which you'll just love.
Thank you, Dad.
They customize also all their sandwiches with whatever toppings you want, and now they deliver within a 3-mile radius. They're family-owned in Hillsboro.
Mom!
Jay's Chicken Shack is open 7 days a week at 646 North Churton Street in Hillsboro. Call 919-732-3591 and ask about their catering services.
Our vehicles wind up in accidents from time to time, but where should you go if the exterior of your vehicle is damaged? Look no further than the folks over at Cardin's Body and Paint Shop, located at Highway 157 in Caldwell. For over 30 years, William, Greg, John, and Dennis have been taking care of the people in Caldwell and their vehicles whenever they've been caught up in a fender bender. So contact the folks at Cardin's Body and Paint Shop if your car winds up in an accident. Call 919-732-6611. That's 919-732-6611.
The Deer Pushers Association of America is a group dedicated to raise funds in support of educational programs, wildlife habitat enhancement and acquisition, and the preservation of the shooting sports and hunting tradition for future generations. They serve Northern Orange, Southern Person, and all of Central North Carolina. To learn more about the Deer Pushers Association of America, contact Skinny Laws or Seth King directly. The Deer Pushers Association of America, killing tomorrow's trophies today.
Still a long line of people waiting to get in here tonight. We're looking over to our right. We are high atop above the press box here at Spartan Stadium, and we can look down on the field and the fans waiting to get in. There was actually a motorcycle accident just off Clayton Road leading into the entrance of the school about an hour before kickoff, and there are still police huddled around that get Hope everyone is okay in that situation. That's part of the reason why we have a less than full house as we get ready to go here tonight between Orange and Southern Durham. A little bit of smoke. It was attempted smoke there, but I've seen more smoke come out of various bathrooms, out of my father's bathroom in particular when I was younger, than what Southern Durham just had right there. as the Spartans come out in their gray uniforms with crimson numbers, orange in their white road uniforms with orange pants and orange helmets. I'm Jeff Hamlin here with Chris Casey, and we're all set for action here tonight between Orange and Southern Durham. Orange coming in, as we mentioned, 5-0. Southern is 2-3 on the season. Orange will line up to the left, and Chris, one thing that Orange has, seemingly as a weapon, is a Wilson every year. If it's not Bryce, who right now is back in Florida with the Atlanta Braves instructional team, it is Peyton Wilson, and he has returned 2 punts for touchdowns. He's had 3 touchdowns in the last 3 games.
Jeff, I remember the game we did in Johnson County 2 years ago when he was a freshman, and some things had happened with some of the guys, and a couple of the linebackers had to take a seat because of a suspension. And, you know, there's a lot of high school sports you can play as a freshman, just, you know, baseball, basketball, volleyball, soccer, whatever, but football's such a physical game. And I remember, you know, calling Peyton's name 17, 20 times that night. And you usually don't see that as a freshman. I mean, most time as a sophomore, junior, senior, yes, but as to a freshman to make that kind of impact in a playoff game, I believe it was like the second or third round, spoke a lot about what his future was going to hold. And, you know, and he's picking up right from his older brother. And, you know, it may make people kind of forget his older brother, at least on the football field, with the way he's playing this year.
Exactly. Well, something just happened I've never seen before in all my years doing high school football. The Southern band stayed on the field too long. Orange had already come out for the kickoff, and Southern's going to be penalized for their band being on the field for the entrance too long. So Orange winds up getting 15 yards before the game even starts.
And, Jeff, that'll be interesting to see with the speed and athleticism that they have. You know, I would think maybe if you couldn't get in the end zone, you might pooch kick it. Well, now with that extra little bit of yards, you might just try to get into the end zone to get them to have the ball on the 20-yard line.
So Francisco McKinley will kick off at the 45-yard line. It's only a 5-yard penalty for delay of game. McKinley does the one thing you can't do, and that's kick the ball out of bounds. So a dumb mistake compounded by another dumb mistake, and now Southern will have the option of taking the ball from its own 35 or making Orange kick it off again. It looks like they will accept the ball at its own 35. And we will see Jalen Green come out here for the Red Wolves. He is 54 of 97 for 815 yards. He has thrown for 6 touchdowns and 3 interceptions this year. And now it looks like the special teams unit is coming back out onto the field. And for instance, Francisco McKinley will have to re-kick the ball once again. Teron Beauford lines up to the far end of the field for Southern Durham. And on the near side of the field, it will be number 10, Xavier Smith. Southern with a bright red S on the side of their black helmets. Orange with the capital white O on their orange helmets here tonight. And what is going to be a cool evening. Highs got up today in the low 80s in the Durham area after a week's worth of rain. But here tonight, Orange and Southern Durham battling once again. And the conference championship could very well be on the line in this one. Francisco McKinley again from the 40, angles far in. It'll be bouncing at the 25, now curling to the near side over the 30, to the 35, out to the 40, and down at the 45-yard line goes the up back. That was Teron Buford coming over. And Southern Durham winds up getting 10 yards after that exchange. And they'll have it 1st and 10 in good field position as Jalen Green, the quarterback, in his second year starting.
And, Jeff, that's kind of why you make a team re-kick it. A lot of coaches would go ahead and say, hey, we'll take the ball on the 35-yard line. But if you've got the athletes that Southern does, on a kickoff, the field is spread. So there's so many open running lanes, you give yourself a chance to pop a big play.
Joey Strong will be the tailback. Wide out to the near side, Santonio Marshall. Southern has been outscored 34-14 in the first quarter this year. Orange defense lines up. Green hands it off. Strong will come up the middle, and he finds a white wall waiting for him, and he goes down shy of the 45-yard line. Noah Rogers came in first. Ryan Sellers comes over, also makes the stop for a loss of 1.
And, Jeff, it'll be interesting to see. And I think in order for Southern to start running the ball effectively, Jalen Green's going to have to pull some of those zone reads. That was just a straight handoff right there, but he's got to be more of an impact to take some of the pressure off his running game.
That's going to be vital, and Orange has to be ready for it. They haven't seen a good zone team this year. Now have an empty backfield. Green throws far sideline. It is knocked away, incomplete. He was looking for Montrell Cooper, the leading receiver on his team, but it was knocked down by Alex Long to the far end of the field, and now a 3rd and 11 coming up for the Spartans.
And if you look at that, they all ran hitches. The hitches are basically a little 5-yard route. You run 5 yards, turns around. A lot of times you do that just to kind of get your quarterback into the game to make an easy throw, an easy completion, and set yourself up to be 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 8.
Instead, it's 3rd and 11 here. Southern going without a huddle. Green stands back. 4 wide receivers. Looks near side. Cranks it up. Looks high. And the pass is knocked away nicely. Knocked away from the side by Rodney Brooks, the strong safety who blocked it like Shaquille O'Neal used to block shots in basketball, and it's a 3 and out.
And Jeff, that was a long throw. I mean, the ball's almost on the right hash mark, and he's throwing all the way to the left sideline to Southern sideline. And if you got a DB who's playing close, it was a nice little out route, but the DB does a great job hugging his hip, and the ball stays in the air so long, gives him time to break it. The bad thing about that, if you're an offensive guy, if he picks it, there's nobody out there. It's a pick 6.
That's why it was a dangerous throw. You're right, Chris. Luis Vidal will come on now to punt for Southern, standing at his own 30. Peyton Wilson is back. The snap lofted to him. Vidal kicks it away from Wilson, who has to run up. Now he's going to let it bounce. Excellent punt. Rolls inside the 15, and it will die at the 14. In the past, punts for Southern have been not just a name, they've been an adventure. Here, Vidal kicked it very, very well.
It is, and traditionally they haven't had a strong kicking game, whether it's extra points, whether it's punting, whether it's kickoffs. If you're Orange, you got to love the way your defense responds. You know, the first time out, you get a negative play on the very first, which we talked about. I think Orange probably leads the country, if not leads the state, if not the country, in negative plays. So they get them right there, 2nd and 11, 3rd and 11, and then get off the field, which is a great job for Orange High School.
Now the roles are reversed, and Orange has to find a way to conquer a very good Southern Durham defense. Orange has scored 48 points in the first quarter in its last 2 games. Jackson Schmid letting a lot of time go off the clock before he hands it off. Ryan Puckett finds a hole, sneaking around right guard behind the block of Darrell Edwards and Blake Taylor. Darrell Edwards, that is. And Ryan Puckett runs ahead for 5 yards where he's stopped by Desmond Chris Bernard.
And, Jeff, it was kind of interesting. They kind of snapped the ball with about 10 seconds on the play clock. Like I said, traditionally, when Coach Moser plays Southern, they like to milk it all the way down to 4 to 5 seconds to try to shorten that game and keep their offense off the field.
Beasley, one wing back. Another wing back, Morgan Pascal. Beasley in motion. Schmid now hands it off. Puckett can't find any room on the left, and he is tangled up and dropped. Easton Sr., the 6'2", 268-pound senior, comes over. Interesting name for a senior, but it is Easton Sr., the senior on the stop, and he holds down Puckett for a loss of 1.
And coming to the game, Easton, you mentioned he's got 2 tackles for loss, 11 tackles on the season. The battle up front is going to be very important for Orange. And now, you know, it's kind of a situation where they're 3rd and long. They usually like to ground and pound, so they might have to drop back and throw, which will be interesting to see how they kind of are able to do that in this situation.
It is the shakiest part of Orange's game, and Southern's got 9 guys in the box. Here's Schmid now looking to throw it far sideline, and it is shy of the intended receiver. Kendall Whitted was wide open, but he was a little slow coming out of the break, and it's a 3 and out for Orange, and Whitted gets up, and he's got a lot of mud all over his pants.
And I think one thing you're going to see tonight, you kind of mentioned coming slow out of the break. I know coaching receivers and DBs on a wet field, you got to kind of chop a little bit more than coming out really hard and being explosive and take that hard plant, because as wet as it is, it's not a good thing. Now, you know, who does the wet field kind of help? Does it help Southern because they've got to throw the ball and they can't throw it because of the grips?
Right.
Or is it going to be because Orange? Can Orange pound it and get enough yards to kind of get that running offense attack on board and be able to kind of milk that clock and get some points?
Jackson Schmid will punt for Orange, standing back at his own 5-yard line. Beaufort back to accept it. Schmid gets away a short kick that will bounce into the Southern sideline. That was a very short punt. Not a good one there by Schmid. They mark it out of bounds. Where's the referee going to put it? At the 41-40, still moving inside at the 39. That was only a 21-yard punt, and score one in the kick column early for Southern Durham, resoundingly, as the Spartans now will take over 1st and 10 at the Orange 39 after a poor punt by Jackson Schmid. So Jalen Green leading out the Spartans, a team that averages 328 yards per game on offense. After a 3-and-out, they have great field position here. Strong stands back in the backfield. Green out of the shotgun. He'll hand it to Strong, coming to the right, and he plows forward into Stone Edwards. And that gain is good enough for 3 on the play. Edwards and Rogers on the stop.
And, Jeff, we were talking about Jalen has got to get some kind of running going. He's carried the ball 37 times this year, averages 4.5 yards a carry and about 34 yards a game. I think for Southern to be successful and to get this offense moving, he's got to take some of the responsibility and make them respect that zone read that he might carry the ball.
Out of the pistol, Strong will take the handoff again, but there's no hope for him. Stone up, now the ball comes free. The ball's loose. Orange picks it up at the 50 and down at the